One love, God bless. Father Nelson here, and today is Sunday service where we pick a random scripture and we read the highlighted text that I've highlighted previously. So let's go ahead, get right into it. I'm gonna pick a random scripture and we'll see what information and reasoning comes to eye. All right, so right away, we're at Proverbs. So there's a few things on this page. Maybe we'll just bounce around and talk about them all. It's not very much. It's only a few pieces highlighted, as you can see. But we're on Proverbs 10. We'll start at verse 19 through 20. So, in the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. The tongue of the just is a choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. Oh, let's keep going on that one. So we're going to go to 21. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The blessings of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. It is as sport to a fool to do mischief, but a man of understanding hath wisdom. Wow. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. Wow, so actually I don't want to bounce around. I want to actually highlight more of that passage because I don't know why I didn't highlight it before. Because that is very, very powerful verse right there. That's a very powerful part of a chapter right there. Wow. So let's start at the beginning of that, because that's a lot to unpack about righteousness. We're at Proverbs verse 10, 19 through 24 now, So in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. But he that refraineth his lips is wise. So in the multitude of words, in our daily lives, and the way that we act out in our, daily aspects, the way that we speak, the way that we act, the way that we handle ourselves, in the multitude, in the most, we're not trying to live out of sin. But he that refraineth his lips, he that holds discipline, and it doesn't mean just he, it means whoever holds that discipline and can also even refrain their lips from speaking sinful things, even though that we all know we're not trying to sin in this world. But if you can actually have the consciousness to refrain yourself, then that is true wisdom. But he that refraineth his lips is wise. Because like it says, in the multitude of words there wanteth not sin. We don't want to live in sin. We don't want to be sinners. We don't want to fall into our lust, fall into greed, fall into, different trials and tribulations that come with sin. But to actually know how to refrain yourself, actually to hold that discipline, is true wisdom. And when you're able to do that, you're truly one of the wise. So we'll keep going. Verse 20, the tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. So the tongue of the just, the person who is speaking righteousness, speaking positivity, speaking true justice in all their doings and all they speak, speaking true wisdom, is as valuable as silver. We can even say as valuable as gold. I don't know why they didn't say it, because that is true. But the tongue of the just is as valuable as silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. So what does that mean? Because that's different. That's interesting. They say little worth, not no worth, because the heart of the wicked, even from wicked people, there's lessons to be learned. So it's not that the Most High makes people of no worth in this society. If there's wickedness being done, there's lessons to be learned, and there's salvation for that person who is doing wicked if they do the necessary things to get that salvation. But that's not for you to worry about. For you to worry about is what worth is out of this? What can you learn from this evil person that's being shown to you? Because everything that's coming into our awareness, whether it's righteous or good, is for a lesson, it's for a reason, it's for a blessing for us to see and learn from. So we have to realize the heart of the wicked is little worth, but don't take too much worth to it. Just take a little lessons you can and don't do the rest. You can learn how to influence people, but don't be a dictator. So this is what it means. The tongue of the just is as choice as silver. Very, very valuable. The wisdom and their actions, everything they do is valuable. You can learn from that. You can profit off of that. But the heart of the wicked is little worth. There's not much worth in that. You can only find little lessons here and there if you're truly conscious and aware and looking for those lessons. So let's keep going. Verse 21. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. So the lips of the righteous feed many. Now, does that really mean physically feeding? For me, no, that doesn't really mean physically feeding, even though the righteous, of course, physically feed so many people, homeless and people that are not homeless, and just everybody in general. We love to feed people. We love to cook. We love to be nurturing. But it says the lips of the righteous feed many, So the lips of the righteousness are feeding you that wisdom, feeding you that glory, feeding you that truth that's going to help guide you through life in a more righteous, in a more disciplined way, in a more blessing-filled way. We have to realize that through our righteousness, through our righteous, path, that we are making the discipline to not sin, making the discipline to make wise choices. Through these actions, we'll be able to feed many with the wisdom and the blessings that we gain. It's not a selfish act to do things that are going to bring you closer to yourself. When you are doing things that are bringing you closer to your true self, to the true divine source, it's not a selfish act. It's an act that's not only going to feed yourself with wisdom, but feed others as well. Help them escape from their wicked ways that they might not even know that they're doing. Because like it says, in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. That's the first part we read. Nobody wants to be a sinner. Nobody wants to sin. But it takes a lot of discipline and wisdom to know how to not sin, to actually have the discipline not to sin when everybody else in the world is sinning. So the lips of the righteous feed many, and by feed many, it means wisdom. We give so much wisdom. We give so much truth. We give so much over an understanding to others that it helps them be fed. It helps them feel full mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that's a blessing for not only us, for others. But fools die for want of wisdom. And how many people have you seen that were thought to be celebrities, thought to be superstars, thought to have the whole world, but then they die all of a sudden from drug overdoses, from terrible accidents, from shootings, from all types of violence and self-inflicted pains, because they were searching for something greater. They kept on thinking that there's something else out there in the physical. They kept on wanting to flash their money and wear the chains everywhere. They kept on wanting to act like the gratification was in the physical form. They kept wanting to take things from other and then gloat about it in music and stuff like this. They kept wanting to buy these fancy cars, but not spend any money on a fancy retreat that's going to be an inner retreat or a silent meditation retreat. They're spending their money investing in products and companies that are destroying the planet instead of giving the planet wisdom and helping feed the planet mentally, physically, and spiritually. So fools die for want of wisdom, because constantly wanting wisdom is not gaining wisdom. Constantly wanting and constantly feeling like you need something else is not wisdom. Wisdom is looking within and realizing the wisdom is always there. The wisdom has always been here. We just have to look within, discipline ourselves, not live in sin, and then the wisdom will be shown. We don't have to look for it. Wisdom is shown to us. And when I didn't have to look for the Bible, and then I didn't have to look for other things that I read next and this and that. No, these just came into my awareness. These certain books, these certain, podcasts, these certain YouTube videos just came into my awareness. I don't need to keep searching for wisdom if I know I'm living righteous. Wisdom just comes to me. Blessings just come to me. Divine understanding just comes to me. I'll be reading one thing, and then all of a sudden I'll just randomly pick up this one book, and it'll be talking about a similar topic that I was just reading about, but helps understand it, helps understand it even more, helps me realize that it was truth. So we have to realize that the fools die for want of wisdom. And it's fake wisdom that they're searching for. Because they really want the wealth. They really want the money. They really want their tongue to be as silver, as gold. But the lips of the righteous feed many. It's the truth. You try to feed a fool, they're going to tell you it's not the truth. You try to feed a fool with wisdom, they're going to tell you, oh, I don't believe in those things. You're going to try to feed a fool with true wisdom, true talk about true spirituality, which runs the universe. They're going to say, oh, I'm not spiritual, or I'm not religious, or I'm not this and that. I don't believe in this and that. Yeah, cool, me neither, but I believe in the Most High. I believe in divine truths. I don't believe in every little thing in between these divine truths, but there's tons of divine truths when it comes out to you, when it sticks out to you, that you need to hold on to and realize that is wisdom. You don't need to keep searching for wisdom. Realize the wisdom in front of you, and more blessings will come. So let's keep going. We're at verse 22, Proverbs 10. The blessings, I was just saying this, more blessings will come to you. See, this is what I'm saying, divine truth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. So when you're living righteous, you're going to be guided by the Lord, guided by the Most High, towards more blessings, towards more of your divine path, towards more of your dreams manifesting into reality. And the blessings that come with you living righteous and staying away from sin, it maketh you actually rich, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And he addeth no sorrow with it. So like I was just saying, we see all these celebrities, we see all these famous people, we see all these superstars who seem to have it all, but they are mentally, physically, and spiritually going through it, suffering, depressed, and then some die. We have to realize that the Lord blesseth. What the Lord blesseth, what we do out of righteousness, the Lord will help and bless. We don't get a dream with a bunch of ramifications that come with it, like these people who do wicked things. When you do things out of wickedness, you may get the dream that you're thinking of, but a whole bunch of other stuff is going to come with that because you did it in a shortcut way. You did it in an evil way. You did it by cutthroat type of way. And, by making sure this person suffers so that you can win, or you did it in a selfish way where you're just using all this money just to buy some new Maseratis and stuff like this. So we have to realize when we're doing stuff out of wisdom and true righteousness of the Most High, that the Lord is going to also bless us and help make us rich. The Lord doesn't want us to be in poverty. The Lord doesn't want us to be suffering all our life. The Lord doesn't want us to be, on the streets begging. It's just sometimes we have to go through these trials and tribulations so that we wake up to the true blessings that come in our life and stop letting them pass us by. But the Lord will make it, whatever dream, whatever desire, a rich and fruitful dream. But we have to do it out of righteousness. And it's not going to come with sorrowness when we're doing it out of righteousness. We're doing it out of a way that's not only going to help ourselves, but others in the entire world, the entire universe, if you can. It doesn't matter how big or small the dream. It could just be helping you and your cousin, you and your family, you and your mother. But when you're doing stuff out of righteousness, the Lord is going to help push you and show you the way that's going to make that dream happen. And it might happen faster than any other dream that you ever had, because you are now conscious of how you are speaking righteousness, walking in righteousness. And then more of these righteous and positive blessings are going to only follow you. So the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. And don't worry, there's not going to be any small prints that come with your blessings when you're doing that righteousness. It is a sport to a fool to do mischief, but a man of understanding hath wisdom. It is a sport to a fool to do mischief. Now that is truth. It is a sport to a fool to do mischief. People who are, especially in this society, in this world, love to get gratification for toxic actions. They love to get gratification for making other people suffer, and then them telling them like, oh yeah, this person, I can't believe him, I knocked him out, or I even killed this person. People gloat about these things in this society. A fool, it is a sport to a fool to do mischief. This is why we need to stay away from foolish people. This is why we need to stay away from people who don't have a positive energy, and we can feel that their energy is not positive. Because 9 times out of 10, people who are living foolishly literally get off on doing mischief. Going 100 miles per hour down the highway, not caring about anybody else's life. Doing things that just don't make any sense to people that have a righteous mindset. Like going and poaching animals or hunting animals when there's plenty of food in the grocery store. Or judging people left and right, or making fun of people and bullying people when we're all different perfectly. When we're all truly the same from the same source. When we know what it feels like to be hurt. But a fool doesn't care. A fool doesn't remember their past lessons. A fool just continues to act out of lust, out of the flesh. So it is as sport to a fool to do mischief, to get those rushes of those fears, accomplished, or those quick high adrenaline rushes. This is what a fool does. There's good adrenaline rushes, of course. No one's saying don't go skydiving. No one's saying, don't go, dirt bike riding or something like that. But we don't need to be a fool about things and to do mischief, something that's going to possibly hurt others. I mean, like I said, there's literally people who get it tatted how many people they have killed and will gloat about it in music and stuff like this. People in jail right now thinking that they could just gloat about these things. It's foolish. It's a fool way. So it is as sport to a fool to do mischief, but a man of understanding hath wisdom. So a person of understanding hath wisdom and knows when to stay away from these things, knows when something is mischief or not, and knows most likely when a person is a fool or not. They're not going to spend their time with them. It doesn't matter if they're used to be your friend or are your friend now. It doesn't matter if they're your co-worker. It doesn't matter if they're in your family. If you realize that they're a fool, you're going to, and you've been building your wisdom. You've been doing your spiritual practices. You've been aligning yourself with the divine source. You can feel, oh, there's something very off about this person. Until they come into that awareness, until they actually see you as an example and start changing themselves as you have, you can't let your energy be around that person even, because you know that they are a fool and they love mischief. You know that sometimes they don't even mean to do mischief and they do mischief. So you have to just use your understanding and your wisdom that you've gained and stay away from those situations, because you're not trying to put your life in danger. You're not trying to put your peace and serenity in danger. You're not trying to put your blessings and connection with the Most High in danger because of some fool who wants to doubt all the truth that is laid out in front of them. It's not your burden to carry. So, but a man of understanding hath wisdom. He knows to stay clear of these fools. He knows to realize that he doesn't need to be a part of that situation. The fear of the wicked it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. So the fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. The fear of the wicked. Now, if you have ever been doing something you're not supposed to do, you know exactly what that fear of the wicked means. We have all, I'm pretty sure, have done things we knew we weren't supposed to be doing, and we had a bunch of fear behind it, about, oh, I hope nobody figures this out. Oh, I hope that I don't get caught doing this, or I hope that, my boss doesn't find out I did this or that, or my parents found out I did this and that, or my spouse found out I did this and that. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him. This is a statement that's being stated in scripture. We have to realize that when we do things out of wickedness, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be fear that comes along with it. And just like manifestation, if you believe in these things or not, just like affirmations, if we're constantly thinking about something, it's going to come into our, reality. It's going to come into our awareness. So we don't have to constantly think about things. We don't have to constantly worry about things. Then the actual worst case scenario never comes. If we're not using our mental capacity to worry and fear about things that we have done and we continue to do, then the worst case scenarios never come into our life, because we aren't living out of a wicked way. We're living out of righteousness. So we expect blessings. We expect everything to be figured out in perfect divine timing. We expect everything to be solved with divine action and divine guidance. We're not worrying and we're not having fear of our actions as the wicked do, because they know, regardless if it comes exactly when they think it's going to come or not, their karma is coming. Sometimes karma doesn't come even in a year. Sometimes it takes years. There's still karma I am unleashing and letting go of from my past actions. But we have to realize that the more we do wicked things, the more karma we build, and the more we're going to see it play out in our life. And we're going to have to let these things go in different ways. We're going to have to face these things in different ways, whether we are living in a righteous path now or not. The more wicked things we do bring more fear onto us. It brings more burdens onto us. It brings more, heavy trials and tribulations onto us. There is a action and a reaction for everything. But the desire of the righteous shall be granted. But now that you have chosen a righteous path, now that you have truly done the work to be more aware in your life and not live so much in sin, or not in sin at all, hopefully, your desires, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals will be granted. And just like I said earlier, there's no sorrow that be added with it. There won't be any bad karma at the end of it. There won't be any such if a good thing happens, then a bad thing is going to happen too. Or if a bad thing happens, then, well, no, that's really a blessing. If a bad thing happens, there's really a blessing behind it. That's the real consciousness. But if a good thing happens for the wicked, usually there's a bad thing that happens with it. Like you'll hear about in the music industry a lot. You'll hear people, right when they get their biggest song, somebody very important in their life passes, or things like this happen. This is what they're talking about. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him. This is what it talks about when the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. If you have someone pass when you have made your biggest achievement, if you have so much sorrow mixed with some of your biggest achievements, you have to realize that, there must be something not aligned in my life. Because a blessing that came from the divine, the blessing that came from the Lord, come with no sorrow with it. And that is a constant pattern if you look back in your life, where you'll have a blessing and there'll be sorrow with it, or you'll have a blessing and then you'll have a bunch of things that make you even forget about the blessing because you're so stressed about these things now. So we have to realize when we're doing things out of righteousness, the Lord bless us without any sorrow, without bad karma being added with it. But we have to be aware, we have to be patient, we have to be living out of righteousness, out of not, and doing our best, truly not to sin, because we all know we don't want to sin. The desire of the righteous shall be granted. Whatever you desire, whatever you dream, if you're doing it out of righteousness, if you're doing it out of a holy place, out of an alignment with your divine self, it will be granted. It will be given to you. We just have to stay patient and stay aware. Now, this doesn't mean that those living righteously aren't going to go through any trials and tribulations. No, it's just that we won't go through the same trials and tribulations as the wicked. We won't have a blessing and it come with curses. We won't have a blessing and have to deal with all this other stuff that makes us forget the blessings even came. Sometimes, yes, we will go through trials and tribulations right before a big blessing, but trials and tribulations are just part of life. We have to realize that sometimes for those that are living righteously, we need certain trials and tribulations to get to the blessings that are being trying to push through to us, because we're a little stubborn. This world is hectic. It gets confusing sometimes. We get distracted sometimes. And, it's hard to follow a path. And sometimes the Most High has to push us to the path, because the Most High isn't giving up on us because we're distracted. Distracted doesn't mean that we're just not living righteous and we're just sinning. No, it's just that sometimes it's hard to quiet our mind, quiet our spirit, and truly know which path and what actions we need to take when we need to take them. Sometimes our divine action meter isn't always active as much as we need it to be. So that's just normal in this society where we're constantly overstimulated with things. But sometimes we go through trials and tribulations. The righteous go through trials and tribulations, but it's before our blessings to help push us to the blessings. And then once we get to those blessings, we're like, oh my gosh, that's why I went through this and this and that. That was amazing. And then those blessings last for a very long time before our next trial and tribulation even comes. But we don't get a blessing and then trial and tribulations come to make us forget the blessing almost. And then, I don't even know what happens after that. Sometimes you get more trials and tribulations, or sometimes you might get a blessing after that as well if you're real lucky, or you're really trying to switch your awareness from that sin and wicked type of mindset, and you're that blessing mixed with that trial and tribulation after it really woke you up and made you realize, oh my gosh, I accomplished my goals, I accomplished my dreams, and I'm still not happy. That's what a lot of the wicked rich deal with. They accomplish their goals, they accomplish the definition of success, but they're still not at peace. They're still not at serenity. They're still not filled with happiness, and especially the rest of their family is still in turmoil. So we have to realize that the blessings that the wicked may have come with sorrow at the end of it, but our blessings may come with trials and tribulations, not sorrows even, but trials and tribulations at the beginning, but the blessings are so much stronger, so much more pure that they last longer for us and we are able to fully appreciate them for longer. So just because you may be going through trials and tribulations, don't think that you aren't living a righteous path. Don't think that the divine source, that the Lord isn't with you anymore and that you've been living in sin. No, that's not what that means. It means that as long as you are going through trials and tribulations and learning the lessons that you need to from it, as long as you're able to stay patient and stay faithful and you're praying and meditating every day and doing what you need to do to still stay spiritually aligned, stay spiritually aware that you are blessed, that you are wealthy, that you are abundant, that you are always being pushed to your best and highest self, as long as you keep that consciousness, then the blessing that comes after these trials and tribulations is going to be tenfold of what any wicked blessing has gotten. We have to realize that the wicked who profit off of their wicked ways, no matter how poor we may think we are financially, we are never truly as poor as they are mentally, physically, and spiritually. 9 times out of 10, some of the richest people that we see online want to be living a life of an average person. So don't think that you cutting corners, or you leading into darkness, and you being, hardcore rock star, and all these type of ways that society may say is cool. Don't think you doing these ways is going to help push you closer to your dreams and destiny. No, these are you taking shortcuts, trying to cheat the system of the universe to get to your goals and dreams. Be yourself, be your true self, and live in true righteousness. It's easy. It's way easier than you think it is. What isn't easy is us trying to fit into society, us trying to fit into a box of toxicity that society wants us to. And it may be hard for us to break free from that box once we have fully gotten ourselves in there, but it is possible with discipline, with patience, and faith. You have to trust in something. You have to try at least to meditate. You have to try at least to pray. You have to try at least to journal. You have to try at least to read, holy books and spiritual books and gain your wisdom, or else you'll stay in that box. You'll stay in that constant cycle of getting a blessing and then getting a curse and forgetting the blessing even came. Live righteous. Don't live out of wickedness. Don't be a fool, rejecting the truth, rejecting the true source within us, rejecting the true blessing that's supposed to be coming to us. The desire of the righteous shall be granted. He that refraineth his lips is wise. The tongue of the just is as choice as silver. The lips of the righteous feed many. The blessings of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. A man of understanding hath wisdom. That's all. That's all how we should be living. That's all how we should be thinking of ourselves. It's very much worth in living righteousness. There's very much worth in living different than everybody else. We might not get the likes, we might not get the clicks that everybody else is getting for their toxic ways, for their wicked ways. But trust that the Most High has a blessing that is granted for you, that comes with no sorrow, no grief, no death, no pain. And it is written. So if you haven't, please subscribe, like, comment, share. And I appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And I really appreciate it if you actually took the time to watch this full video, because lots of times people don't watch the Sunday services. But it is very, very important, and it's beautiful because it's a random choice. It's not like I come here already having a scripture laid out. It's both of us being an experience of this wisdom that we are supposed to gain. If you're watching this wisdom was for you. If you're watching this message was for you. It was at random. It was for a reason. Random sometimes mean for a reason when you're in the spiritual plane. So we have to realize that this is a blessing. I'm going to read it one more time before I go. In the multitude of the words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. The tongue of the just is as choice as silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. It is as sport to a fool to do mischief, but a man of understanding hath wisdom. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. Wow. So have a blessed day. Have a blessed Sunday. Live righteous. Keep that righteous mindset. And don't let the ways of the wicked and don't let these fools steer you away from the true path. One love.